So apparently ICE agents have been like quitting in droves because they're afraid of getting doxxed and like followed home from work and attacked on the job, whatever.
Do not let ICE agents tell you that the reason why they are quitting, if in fact they are quitting in droves, is because they fear for their lives and that of their families. Please, okay? Could it be because it's hard to sleep at night after you've heard the cries of babies being ripped apart from their parents?
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. In case you're new here, my name is Maren.
And I'm Maureen.
Right. So in today's episode, we are going to be reacting to the apparent report that is coming out about ICE agents quitting their jobs in big numbers, yeah? And this, they're attributing it to the fact that they claim they're not okay with how things are being done right now in terms of immigration policies and how they're getting immigrants off the streets. Right. So guys, let's watch what Americans had to say about this, and we'll come back and talk about it. But you can also leave us a comment on the comment section on what you think about this video. Also consider subscribing if you're new to our channel. Right, let's watch and then we come back.
Look at God. In the last days, the Bible says that your enemies will become your footstool. Psalms 91 tells us 1,000 may fall at your side and 10,000 at your right hand, but it would not come near you. And look at what's happening now. ICE agents are quitting. Despite the government passing the so-called One Big Beautiful Bill, a policy that empowered ICE and merged their operation with law enforcement, many ICE agents are backing out. Why? Because for the first time, they are afraid. Drones are following them. They are being doxxed. They are being exposed. And most recently, some were attacked in a building. People were arrested for trying to retaliate. Now, I'm not here to glorify violence, but I am here to say that when you build your career on breaking up families, deporting people in the middle of the night, and tearing children from their parents, don't be surprised when the people push back. You can't play Nazi and then act surprised when the people you are harming decide to resist.
Do not let ICE agents tell you that the reason why they are quitting, if in fact they are quitting in droves, is because they fear for their lives and that of their families. Please, okay? Could it be because it's hard to sleep at night after you've heard the cries of babies being ripped apart from their parents and taking them to places unknown? Could it be after a day of zip tying a kindergarten class worth of kids? A pillow feels like a goddamn rock. Now, I don't know what it takes to become an ICE agent. I don't know what the bar is. I'm presuming it is lower than the dog shit that I just stepped on in my backyard. Okay? I have seen a nary ICE agent training video. I've seen more firefighter training videos, police training videos, and I've seen ICE agent videos, okay? And I'm guessing a lot of these guys are a lot of weekend warrior meets Johnny wannabe fucking G.I. Joes, okay? Couldn't pass the medical for the Army, couldn't quite get that point to pass a local police exam. So they thought they were going to be soldiers. It's one thing to be a soldier on the battlefield. It is quite another being a soldier when you are rolling up in a village. You know, PTSD comes at you fast, and too bad there won't be Medicaid to help you fucking pay for your pills and therapy. I mean, it can't be for the money, because you can make more money working at Trader Joe's and get health care and less PTSD. But anyway, ICE baby. Ba-rum-bum-bum-bum-bum.
Nah, ICE agents is quitting because they fighting their own kids in the street. That's why. They fighting their kids, their cousins, and their nieces. That's why they quitting. They know what's up.
In a city of almost 10 million people and all the theatrics that have gone on with the ICE raids here in Los Angeles, why do we have such a low arrest rate? According to CBS LA reporter Ross Paloba and ICE's own data, LA is seeing some of the most aggressive, militarized immigration tactics in the entire country, but it's not turning out the numbers like other cities are getting. In the month of June 2025, in a sweeping ICE raid, they detained 44 people from Westlake Home Depot, MacArthur Park, and the Fashion District here in Los Angeles. Meanwhile, in Boston, they detained 1,500 people in the month of June. And Boston didn't use any of the theatrics. Chicago detained 600 and San Diego around 120.
So guys, I do feel like LA is proving to be a very hard nut to crack, and to some level, I feel like it has been felt with so much and to some extent, I feel like it has been met with so much resistance because it is the place that has been hit the hardest. And you know, one thing with human beings, not just people who are in LA, with human beings, if you approach them with lack of respect and if you approach them in an aggressive way, they tend to get in a position where they're defensive, you know, because as the lady has said, in other places like Baltimore, you don't see Boston, you don't see as much force being used, law enforcement being used like the way you're seeing in LA, and this has brought about some groups that are bringing up resistance.
Just for comparison. Here in Los Angeles, ICE has teamed up with DHS, Border Patrol, U.S. Marshals, and even the LAPD. They have agents on horses, they're using facial recognition, people are pretending to be Uber drivers, and we are not turning out the numbers like the other cities across the United States. And to add to that, it looks like a federal war zone in certain areas of Los Angeles. LA has one of the most organized immigrant defense networks in the entire country. So when ICE shows up, we have clergy showing up, we have legal observers showing up, and we have rapid response teams mobilizing. In one case, people showed up and they actually blocked a deportation from happening in the Edward Schwartz Federal Building. The former DA of Los Angeles, George Gascon, also deprioritized detainers. The sheriff is not automatically cooperating with ICE, and local jails are requiring warrants. So if somebody gets detained, it's most likely that their whole situation is going to be delayed, if not blocked entirely. Las Paloma says that all of the theatrics that are going on here in Los Angeles are designed to scare people.
If you are ICE, you need to watch this video so you know exactly what you can expect when this administration's term ends in 2028. You know you're breaking the law. We know you're breaking the law. We see it on video every single day. And so I'm going to read you the federal law and the state law, and you can have an idea of what you're going to be up against. 18 U.S. Code 242, titled Deprivation of Rights Under Color of Law, is a federal law that makes it a crime for someone acting under the authority of law to willfully deprive another person of their constitutional rights or privileges. This includes actions taken by the government officials like law enforcement officers that violate a person's federally protected rights. And yes, this applies to undocumented migrants. So when you're using force without offering due process, you're looking at criminal liability. When we see the videos tackling people to the ground, pushing them to the ground, using tasers, tear gas. The Fourth Amendment protects individuals against excessive force. And if it is found that you are using excessive force, considering the situation, you will not be protected as a federal agent against civil liability nor criminal liability. And it does not matter your intent. It doesn't matter if your superior said it's okay or instructed you to do that. You are individually responsible and liable. 18 USC 1385 generally prohibits the use of Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Air Force, and Space Force to execute the laws of the United States unless expressly authorized by the Constitution or an act of Congress. Violations of this act can result in fines and/or imprisonment. And as you remember, Congress has not voted.
Okay, let's just be honest here. If you're working under President Trump's administration and you feel like you have the authority to do whatever you're doing to the people you're going to arrest or to have in custody, yeah, I feel like these people are sort of protected and they know as much. That is why they have the power to do whatever, even to a point of violating human rights. Because, for example, let's look at the case of Sonia Marcia. That cop, where is he right now? He was actively doing what he did when he was on duty, and he ended up unaliving Sonia Mercy. But where is he, right? I feel like for as long as these cops know that the system protects them, it doesn't matter what the Constitution says. They will always find a loophole to get away with what they do to the citizens, you know. But let's keep watching.
On this, everything has been done via executive order. Why it's so important that if you're ICE, law enforcement, the National Guard, the military, that you know the law inside and out. Because if you get an order from Tom Homan, from Kristi Noem, from Donald Trump even, that's unconstitutional, that's illegal, and you carry it out, you could personally on the hook, both civilly and criminally. Don't believe me? Look at Rudy Giuliani, Michael Cohen, Michael Flynn, Paul Manafort, Roger Stone, all ended up in prison. You think he cares about you? You think he cares whether or not you go to jail or not? You think he cares whether or not you and your family end up being sued civilly? Ordinarily, law enforcement agents would be protected against civil liability. However, if your use of force is excessive and you're not going about the arrest through the proper protocol, such as stating your probable cause, such as self-identifying, and you are actively taking steps to hide it, such as covering your face with masks, wearing sunglasses, removing the license plates from your cars, driving unmarked cars, not stating your name, not answering questions which are reasonable, not even knowing the names of the individuals of which you are arresting, that is a clear violation of the Fourth Amendment, which applies to undocumented migrants, and you will not be protected as a federal agent against civil nor criminal suits.
So guys, welcome back. Let us know what you think about the videos we just played here. I never thought we'd get to see the day where an ICE agent would quit, attributing that to the fact that they feel what they're doing is inhumane, you know. And I feel like this just goes to prove that in every rotten apple, there's a few good ones here. But if the rotten ones are overpowering the good ones, it might be a bit difficult to see until you start going through the whole bunch here. And this just proves that case in point. And for them to even get to a point where they're feeling like, because, okay, I googled this because I was trying to fact check and see how true this was, and some reports are saying that the ICE agent veterans who feel frustrated because they thought they would be going to arrest criminals and they thought they were going to get the worst of the worst out of their streets. Instead, they were tasked with the work of going into farms and arresting gardeners, you know, and the tactics they were using, they were not okay with that means, you know. So I feel like for them to come out and just speak against this, and to be quite honest, it's their job to get people off the streets who are immigrants here. But for him to speak out, then that shows there's a big problem in the system, you know, and it shows that they do not support what President Trump is doing with his immigration policies, which makes me ask, is there a better way they can do this, or do you feel like this is the best way to move forward? Because at the end of the day, America has been facing a very serious immigration problem, you know, and the number of immigrants in America who are illegal was becoming unattainable, yeah? So guys, also they said one of the major reasons that the ICE agents were quitting was because people were starting to dox their homes, and some were even being followed by citizens, you know. And I can imagine how scary this might be for, because you know, when you're at work and you're backed by your colleagues, then you get the courage to attack the crowd, because more often than not, the crowd is usually not armed, you know. But when you're alone like this, and then the crowd starts to follow you, that is when you realize where the power lies, you know. So I feel like, yeah, maybe some of them want to quit so that they can help their families stay safe, yeah. But what is the long-term remedy for this situation? Right, because a lot of right now it looks like just from LA alone, a lot of rebellion is starting to crop up, you know, and this might even bring the country to a brink of chaos. And for a lot of people, I do imagine that you want to separate your work life from your personal life, and if you're at work, you want your family to be separate. If you're at home, you want your work to be away from your family, you know. Yeah, so that's what is happening currently. You know, we were wondering, because we are getting in a good storyline, you get one side of the story and you get the other side of the story, yeah. And on social media, a lot of the stories we were seeing were of the people affected by this in terms of the illegals, yeah. But you didn't actually know how it's affecting the ICE agent. I would imagine the number of those who are not remorseful is bigger, yeah. Because, you know, okay, at the end of the day, they believe they're doing their job, which they are, except from when they start affecting the innocent American citizens. Right, and more so, you have to ask yourself the actions you take against another human being, yeah? Because the only thing that separates people in America is the skin of the color of their skin and their nationality. Are they legals? Are they illegals? That's the only thing that separates them. Otherwise, everybody is human. So at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself the action you take against another person. Are you able to clearly close your eyes at night and sleep with a clean conscience? You know, and if your answer is not right now, it's not a straight yes, then it means there's some work you need to do within yourself. Much as you're doing work, although I do feel like there are some people who take pleasure in causing pain, you know, and for those people, their time for reflecting maybe is way in future, not now. And that's why I'm saying I don't feel like there's a big number of them who are feeling the way these ones are feeling. Maybe this is just a small percentage in comparison to the whole data of the country, you know, but it's a starting point and it's a step up if there's someone who's feeling like they're not just marching to get orders, but these orders they're also questioning, is this the right thing to do? Are we doing
constitutional
exactly,
or is it harming some people's basic rights? Right. So guys, let us know what you think about this episode.
Yeah, and as I said, I feel like at the end of the day, you know, there are constitutions, and there's a guy there who was trying to teach us about the constitution, and he was trying to talk to ICE directly. You know, ideally there are consequences that should be there, being that they have laws to follow. If you don't follow those laws, consequences have to follow, you know. But as I said, I don't really think in this case anybody is gonna be, you know, followed by consequences, being that the law allows them, or the president allows them to act in that manner. If the president himself just gives out an executive order, right, something that is supposed to go through Senate, something that is supposed to be talked about by other members of the Senate and the Parliament, but they don't do that, yeah, he just passes an executive order with no consequences. I don't feel like the people who are subordinate to him will be falling into trouble, being that they're trying to pass his laws, you know. So there I don't really see how it's gonna be going against them and protecting the people, but we're just waiting to see, because at the end of the day I do believe that all answers for their mistakes. Even Donald Trump, the law might not hold him accountable, and God knows there's a lot of things he needs to be held accountable for, but I do believe that the day of repercussion normally comes, you know. Even if not in public eye, we might not see how he's going to pay for his crimes, you know, for his alleged crimes. We might not see that, but something, the universe has a funny way of coming back, you know.
Right. So guys, let us know what you think about this episode. Also consider subscribing if you're new to our channel, and we'll see you on our next episode.